I'm Steve Douglas from the Alumni Association. We want to welcome you to Erickson Alumni Center. What a wonderful ceremony this is. And Derek, thanks for putting it together. I think it's a great tradition of the Mountaineer. As we look at it, I believe it's close to 80 years of Mountaineer mascots. 80 years of Mountaineers, all the way from Slim Arnold of Bayard, West Virginia, and Lawson O'Hill of Hillsboro, West Virginia. I believe probably the ghosts are in the room tonight. They're all here. I'm not going to try to introduce all the VIPs. We have a lot of Mountaineer mascots here, a lot of officials here, but I do want to introduce one guy, and I'm just going to say it. He's WVU's and West Virginia's greatest all-time football player. Will you please say hello to Sam Huck? Probably had every Hall of Fame you could imagine. The one thing that people don't know, and Sam, I'm going to say this, Sam was an academic All-American as well, and that's what he was really proud of. And of course, he and many of the WVU, the former greats, are here for tomorrow's spring football game. And I also want to mention one other thing. One of the great games coming up, one of the great games of all time, is the Kickoff Classic. And we're going to introduce with Bill Toothman in the Atlanta chapter. We've got great events planned, and we hope all of you will be seeing this great upset win that no one would believe. This card gives you 3 or 4 events that we're going to be doing, plus some trip information. I hope we're going to have thousands of Mountaineers in Atlanta for the Kickoff Classic as we face the Crimson Tide. I feel really good about that. All right, that's my 2 cents, and I'm going to turn it over. Mountain Honorary, they are housed here in the Alumni Center. They do select the Mountaineer mascot. If you haven't had a chance, 1 floor above, you ought to go up. It's the first prototype of the Mountaineer statue, and it's on display overlooking all of campus and the Coliseum. You ought to take a look at that. But this year's summit, which is the president of Mountain, is Derek Wetch of Elkins, West Virginia. Derek, I'll turn it over to you.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming tonight. It means a lot for y'all to be here as we pass the rifle from a 2-year Mountaineer who has served West Virginia University, the state of West Virginia, very well. It means a lot for y'all to be here to support him. And first off, I'd like to thank the Erickson Alumni Center, Steve Douglas, Kevin Berry, Greg Cave, all their staff for hosting us here this evening. So let's hear it for Erickson. Now, I'm sure you're going to hear from 3 distinguished Mountaineers who are going to tell you all about Jonathan Kimble, but I'm going to give you a few statistics first. Jonathan has appeared over 700 times at non-athletic events in his 2 years as Mountaineer. He has been to all 55 counties of West Virginia, which is the first time that's ever been done. So he has definitely touched our whole state. Also, he's touched our nation as well. He has been on ESPN's College Road Trip, and he even intimidated Coach Lee Corso a little bit on the game day. Jonathan was our Mountaineer leading into the Big 12 Conference. He traveled more miles and showed the folks out there what West Virginia is truly about. And he served as a great representative for us, traveling all those miles and really letting those folks know that we were glad to be a part of the Big 12 and then welcoming them to Morgantown as well. And as well, doing that, he's identified with every West Virginian that you could imagine. If you take a trip with him, everyone wants to see him. He doesn't meet anyone that is a stranger. So he has truly served the role of Mountaineer to the best that he could. Before I introduce our first speaker for the evening, I want to thank just a few folks. First and foremost here, Jonathan's mom and dad are sitting right up here with us. I want to thank them for giving us a great 2-year Mountaineer. His mom for helping out with many beef jerky runs that Jonathan is known for, and his dad for taking him out, shooting with him, and getting him ready for us. Next, shooting the rifle. I'd like to thank the National Capital Chapter of the Alumni Association. Whenever it comes time to get a new rifle, they provide us one for him, and so I really appreciate them doing that. Also, selecting Michael Garcia was a committee of 12 folks who worked hard for about 2 months to find us the next Mountaineer. And so I'd like to thank the selection committee for a great job. Several of those members are here tonight, as well as the co-chair, Mr. Steve Orlowski, and the chair for the committee was Mr. Steve Staffolino. He's around here too, right up here. I'd also like to thank a lot of folks who made traveling all 55 counties possible for John. Without folks who were willing to put him up in their homes for the evening, say down in the southern part of the state, folks who wanted him to come to their events, that is the outreach that we need so that he can touch all those in West Virginia. So a big thank you to all those folks. And as well to our Mountaineer Advisory Council, Mr. Matt Wells and Tricia Petty, who aren't with us this evening. Both of them work in other parts of the university. But also the lady who sent all your invitations out, who planned this thing out for us, Miss Sandra Wilson, the advisor to the Mountaineer, sitting back here. Sandra truly keeps the Mountaineer going, keeps him going to all those appearances, and she does a great job. The Mountaineers mean so much to her. I know they've become like family to her, so Sandra means a whole lot to a lot of folks in this group. So without further ado here, I'll bring our first speaker of the evening up, the Mountaineer from 2006-2008, another 2-year Mountaineer. Mr. Brady Campbell is going to tell us a little bit.
Hi and welcome. It's great to see so many of you out here. It just shows what an amazing job Jonathan has done representing this university. The role of the Mountaineer was initially just a small mascot position, just the ultimate cheerleader. But through the years, it has evolved and become so much more. Jonathan is a leader, and he has led us in so many different ways. The first and foremost is that he led us into a new conference. He went and represented us down in, was it Texas, I believe, with Coach Holgerson. And he not only led us there, but he led us on a national campaign there, you know, with Lee Corso and the rest of the ESPN guys on their commercials. Mountaineer's role is, like I said, the ultimate cheerleader. And at first it was just athletics, but now it is for so much more. He leads the state to show what a great people, the people of West Virginia, the students of WVU, and the communities that make up our great state. Further, Jonathan's role is to go and to show people and to tell them what WVU is and what exactly you learn here, the feelings that you get, and the love for the state. And he has touched every single county, every single nook and cranny of this state, going around spreading the wonderful word of the Mountaineer and WVU. Jonathan has taken his roles, which at first were so simple, or seemingly so simple, and has just personified them and has just expanded them to a level that no one has ever reached before. You know, when I started, I think that the record might have been in the 400s. And to see him go out and do 700, I mean, he was only Mountaineer for approximately, what, 740 days. So to do that is more than a full-time job. And just think, he wasn't only going around Morgantown, he's traveling across this great country, going and spreading the wonderful word of the university and the state of West Virginia. And he's done it so well. And thank you and welcome to this great fraternity. And Michael, you have big shoes to fill, and I know you are going to do an absolutely great job. Good luck.
Brady, thanks for being here, for the encouragement as always. And next, I'll introduce to you our current Secretary of State, the Mountaineer from 1990, Miss Natalie Timmons.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
It's hot in here, isn't it? Mountaineer heats it up. It is such an honor to be here, and I apologize for being late, but thank you so much for asking me to be part of this wonderful celebration that is paying tribute to a wonderful representation that Jonathan Kimble has given to this university and to this state. I am so proud of what you have done for all of us and how you have represented all of us, not just those of us in this room, not just those of us across the state, but when I see the Mountaineer in the Mountaineer uniform, that is me. And you represented me so well. And I thank you so much for that. And I thank you for the opportunity to relive vicariously through you in your tweets. Some I was able to retweet, some it's like, man, I never did that. So thank you for being an outstanding representation. And I do feel as though this has become a little bit of typecasting here this evening, because I have been asked to speak on the history of the Mountaineer. And considering that when I was the Mountaineer, Michael Garcia was not born. So I appreciate that. Bobby Norman, I do see some people here who were there back then. 24 years ago, can you believe that? I can't believe it either, because I feel like I was just sitting right there. Although, you know, even back in my day, we didn't even have a ceremony like this before. We didn't pass the rifle. We just said, here, go do it. Go do it. And that's what we've done. The history of the Mountaineer, a symbol of this state's independence, resourcefulness, and strength, is a very rich tradition. Wonderful tradition. And I'll give you some of the history of folks, and I like how we do this every year or every 2 years about remembering those who came before us and those Mountaineers who really started this and started the path. The first Mountaineer was Clay Krause in 1927, but it really wasn't until Slim Arnold, and that's a name that you'll remember. He was the first Mountaineer from 1937 to 39, the first one to serve 3 years as Mountaineer, and really he was the first to wear the apparel that we know and love today, the buckskin with the fringe and the coonskin cap from head to toe. And that costume, that uniform has changed very little over those 60 years. Mountaineer once carried a flintlock, but it never changes for me, we now carry a cap lock. And it requires just enough knowledge and a depth of knowledge to know just how much powder to put in it to get that big boom for those unsuspecting visitors. Just enough, right? Just enough. The position of the Mountaineer has changed very little over the year. Mountain Honorary, and I see many of the Mountain Honorary members here also, has chosen the new mascot. The Mountaineer must be a member of the student body and is chosen for outstanding enthusiasm, character, service to the community, and academics also. And when you get to pack that black powder, you file that musket, and you lead the football team out on the field, you're followed by a 300-pound lineman who's running at his top speed. Yeah, that's the easy part. Make sure that the gun goes off. The Mountaineer is a symbol of our state, just as recognizable now as the cardinal, the black bear, and the brook trout. And the Mountaineer makes hundreds and hundreds of appearances on behalf of our university for WVU events, campus activities, alumni events, school, and of course, WVU Children's Hospital, which you did that yesterday, correct? As one of your final jobs, final appearances. He tweeted about that one too. Keep up with him. And the Mountaineer carries on their shoulders the tradition of a proud and strong people who live among the beautiful hills here that still echo with the voice of Jack Fleming describing Major Harris invading the entire Penn State defense.
Amen.
That's right. Amen. Thank you. And like all West Virginians, Mountaineers do take care of each other. We do have a special bond that Brady talked about, that we look after each other. And as I was coming here and being late, I went through all my Mountaineer connections, and I was wondering where was Brandon, but it's a good thing I didn't call him and text him. But we do have that special connection of taking care of each other. These are special young people who aren't afraid to put themselves out there and be leaders. And I always wonder, with wonder, think, what's this Mountaineer going to do? What is this Mountaineer going to do after his term? You know, Mountaineers are determined. We don't let an obstacle get in our way. And if it does, we don't let it stay there. And you can ask that about Michael. You can ask that about several other Mountaineers before him, like Rock Wilson. They tried out for the Mountaineer before, and they did not get it. You know, but they didn't give up. And this past summer, I saw firsthand that steely determination in Michael. He interned in the Secretary of State's office this past summer after having been a finalist and not making it, not even an alternate to the Mountaineer. And I asked him, Michael, are you going to try out again? Are you going to go for it again and try out to be the Mountaineer? And he said yes. You know what I thought? I thought, boy, this can't be easy. This guy who so wants to be the Mountaineer, to be in a place where you have a former Mountaineer who still has her muzzleloader above the office, above my desk in the office, and you have another former Mountaineer, Brock Burwell, who works in the Secretary of State's Business and Licensing Division of the office. And every time you walk by him, you still shiver with a little bit of pride when you see Brock. Now don't tell him that, because there are some times I walk by and I'm like, hey Brock, and I just want him to give me one of these. Let's go! I just want him to give one of those with that big curly hair and that big beard. And I must say that I ask your forgiveness because Brock doesn't have the big bushy beard anymore. It's more refined, and his hair is a whole lot shorter than it was when he was in my hair. And I feel partly responsible for that. And I'm a little ashamed, embarrassed. But what has Brock done? He is continuing to serve the people of West Virginia. And for Michael, this past summer, you know, I wondered about his Mountaineer prowess. And I thought, you know, here's this guy, he's got such a sweet face. He's always smiling. He's got those big eyes. Who is so respectful all the time. But I had the opportunity to witness the breakthrough moment for Michael on a monumental night. You all know that we celebrated our 150th birthday in West Virginia this past summer. And there was a special video that played in front of the state capitol, and on the state capitol, as a matter of fact. And after watching that video, people still stayed in their seats. And they were so full of pride for our people and for our state that they were clapping and they were cheering. And from behind me, I hear this, "Let's go!" And when we hear that, what do we say? Mountaineers! So we start this, and I turn around, and here's this kid, Michael Garcia, leading that cheer. And that was awesome to me. I was a little jealous. I was. Of course, I returned the Mountaineer favor to him. But I just thought that that was an amazing opportunity here for this young man, that he is going to have 50 years from now when we celebrate the bicentennial of West Virginia, that he led the Let's Go Mountaineer cheer on the birthday of our 150th year of our state. So he's making memories, and I knew at that point he had what it took to be the Mountaineer. And he now has what it takes to make his own history, as Jonathan has done, as all the Mountaineers before have made history for our state and our university. Congratulations, thank you, good luck to you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. We're glad you can be here with us tonight. And boy, I wish we could open these windows behind us. And I'm going to miss that. Finally, to share with us this evening is another Mountaineer from the 2000-2002 year. I've heard a few stories from Scott through the years as well. So Scott, if you'll come up here and tell us a little bit about the significance of Mountaineer.
It's always been difficult following Natalie. Being the second Mountaineer from Marion County was a little bit difficult. You got some shoes. The great thing is that now we have 3, and Marion County is number 1. We are the most Mountaineers of any county in West Virginia. So we're proud of that.
Ritchie County.
We're tied with them now.
Yeah, right.
But they hit 2. We're still tied for 1. We'll grow a couple more and take it over. The significance of the Mountaineer, when they called and asked me about that, it's difficult. Because really, when you think about the Mountaineer, he's that guy. He's the one that has an ultimate amount of power on game days. He can take 60,000 fans from quiet to a roar very quickly. He can nurture the Coliseum from this placid group of people to an uproar supporting our teams. But he also has the ability to enlighten lives, and that's cool. Every year, I go someplace and meet people, and someone introduces me and says, hey, by the way, he was a Mountaineer. And someone will say, hey, you know, when I was 12, of course now they're getting younger. You know, I remember you. I still have your picture. This year I was talking to Jonathan at the Forest Festival, and Maid Sylvia was talking to us, and she said, I remember you. So you were the Mountaineer when I was, how old was she? She was probably 5 now. And she was probably 5, because I was 14 years ago. It's a little bit of time. But she said, I still have your picture. And that's what makes you realize the Mountaineer is very significant. Not just to the Mountaineers, but to the people of the state. I was talking with a gentleman this weekend, and it really reminded me why we're different. Every school has a mascot, but we're different. Mountaineers are special. And he was telling me a story. He's a graduate of Ohio State University, and I'll admit, I graduated from Ohio State University. We all have flaws. Sometimes necessity requires it, and that's where the veterinary school is. So I was talking to him, and he said, I was on a fishing trip in Florida, and as I was done fishing, I pulled out a buckeye nut out of my pocket, and another gentleman says, why do you have a buckeye nut in your pocket? And he said, well, any great Ohio State fan carries a buckeye nut with him all the time. And the gentleman looked at him and he said, well, I don't really believe that's true because I'm the Buckeye. And he was Brutus Buckeye. But how do you know? The only thing changed with Brutus is his height. Brutus isn't allowed to talk. There are at least 3 Brutuses at any one time. If we could clone Jonathan, maybe we'd have got to 2100 instead of 7. Measly 700. Just kidding. That's an epic achievement. But the fact is, we're different. We're a face. We're the face of West Virginia for the time we're the Mountaineer. And fortunately or unfortunately, sometimes our face stays beyond the time we're the Mountaineer. Sometimes people remember you for things you probably wish you wouldn't have been remembered for. Sometimes those things people say you probably don't want to be remembered for, but you do. I'm proud to say I have a Big East Code of Conduct of Sportsmanship that was sent to me by the Big East office because I was excessively aggressive towards the officials. A trait I still carry this day, and I'm proud of that. What the significance is, here's an email. I got a nice letter. But the Mountaineer is special. I'm proud to say that I was fortunate enough to have this experience. I wish that I could go back and amplify more of the impact that I could have had. I think every Mountaineer can look back and say, I could have done just a little bit more and had a bigger impact. Today I was in between craziness at the office. I got to look outside for a minute, and as the clouds passed, they broke up for a second and a ray of sunshine came out. And I started thinking about the kids over here at the hospital. The Mountaineer gets to be that gray for those kids. That's the significance. We get to be a bright light. When you take away all the fun that we get to have, because if you ever want to know the real Mountaineer, what goes on, if you hear about a Mountaineer reunion, find the Mountaineers and listen. We've got some great stories. But those stories really mean a whole lot when you put them next to the ability to brighten a child's day. And even if it's the children at an elementary school that has never gone to a football game, never gone to a basketball game, they've only seen them on TV, and now in living color, the Mountaineers here in front of me. That's a big deal. That's the significance. The Mountaineer is our guy. He's the one that gets to elevate people's day. Jonathan, you did a great job. I've had a wonderful time getting to hang out with you, getting to know you. Good luck.
Wow, that's hard to follow. Well, John, I think it's that time that you want to come up and share some memories with us. Am I right? All right.
Let's go!
Love that. So I was trying to stall as long as I could out there. We were out firing off the gun probably about 10 or 12 times, so I ran out of powder. So I'm out of powder now, Marvin. It's good to see Marvin here. I didn't recognize him without his overalls on. I think it's the second time I see Marvin without his overalls on. First time was at the first passing the rifle when I received it. So I could probably stand up here all night and talk to you, but I do feel a little bit of breeze coming on, so that's good. Thank you guys. Thank you for everything, for coming out here this evening, for taking it Friday night. We have people coming in from New Jersey. Ed, thank you for coming. Anyone else farther than New Jersey?
South Carolina.
South Carolina, Texas,
Georgia.
Georgia. you guys for coming. I've made so many great relationships with being a Mountaineer. You know, it's very humbling to stand up here before you guys. A couple years ago, you know, Mountaineer Maniac, front row every game just cheering it on. And then I get to put on these buckskins and become the face of West Virginia overnight. And it's pretty special. You get to meet little kids all the time. Where's Lake in here? Lake, where's your coonskin cap at, buddy? Put it on. He's going to be the Mountaineer in, what, 15 years? He's going to be up here in 15 years. So it's great to see little kids and how we can be a role model to them. I have so many little kids that come up to me. Hey, you remember when we did push-ups when you came to visit me at my school? Sure, I remember. Yeah. Keep working those push-ups. Look around the room here, John Radford, all these other people, Jeremy Hatcher, all the news and photographers. I mean, who knew that the news people and photographers could become some of your best friends? They're there in every single game, getting the embarrassing pictures of you. I will share one embarrassing moment I had with that someone called a camera here. So Oliver Luck instituted the push-up platform, where the Mountaineer gets up and does push-ups now. And I'm running over there, we just scored. The guys weren't ready, and they didn't lower the platform all the way. So I'm jumping up there, and they still had the platform for here. You know, I'm all excited. I jumped up there. Well, I couldn't make it, so I hit the ground, face it, and somebody got a picture of that. So you always have your camera on you, no matter where you're at. No matter where you're at. But there's a few people here I just wanted to give a big thank out to. The first one is Sandra Wilson, or Sandra. She's already crying. Stand up, Sandra, stand up. Sandra's the one that kind of makes everything happen with the crazy organized schedule. She has the one that has me in Charleston at 6 o'clock and then Martinsburg at 6 o'clock in the evening or something like that. Sandra and I have got to sit down every single week for the past 2 years and gone through hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands of event requests, and she's been there, and I probably saw Sandra more than his actual wife. That's for the church. My parents, you know, they've been there from when I was younger. A 10-year event can be that. Thank you guys. My wife, stand up, can stand too. Pretty special. She has spent the last 2 years with me. That's got to do this. Thank you. I love you. She knows what it's like. I'm gone every weekend for football. Gone most nights visiting counties. So I get to spend more time with you now. And lastly, Marvin Watcher. Who knew he could give me a gun that would kill a bear? You know. Marvin Watchering here has probably done more for the Mountaineer that nobody knows about since 1977. I told him earlier today that if it wasn't for Marvin, I doubt if I'd be here today. I doubt if the Mountaineer could still be around. He's the one that makes the rifle, this beautiful piece here. He puts his sweat, tears, and heart into it. You know, I call Marvin, hey Marvin, something's wrong with the gun? Come on out, John, we'll get it taken care of. We'll kick off in 6 hours, I'll be right out or something. And Marvin fixes everything, and just the love that, you know, there's been many Mountaineers who wear the buckskins, but Marvin by far is the greatest of all. He never put on the buckskins, he was never an official Mountaineer, but his heart shows you exactly what a Mountaineer should be. He always has to come. And me and him, we actually made we took the jawbone from the bear I killed, and we made a set of knives from the jawbone there. You're the best. So sometimes I feel like I have a part-time student and a full-time Mountaineer. always going different things. But when I graduated WVU 2012, is the same time I became the Mountaineer. So I started to look into different master's programs, sport management, MBA, and then I looked into the MSIR programs, the Industrial Labor Relations, and I got a couple of my faculty and staff here, Hutch and Dr. Heems. They're the ones that got to help me get through school. I've probably fallen asleep in their class more than I should have. I go in there and eat lunch and different things. So thank you guys for allowing me to be part of the program. And luckily, they're a big Mountaineer fan. So class tonight, I got to get a women's game. All right, well, I'll probably see you there. So it's great. I always try to hit them with a t-shirt, the sling, or something like that. We came close a few times. As I got to learn and grow as a Mountaineer, WVU was learning and growing too. WVU is doing great right now. I mean, the construction, Gordon Gee being here, the leadership, it's only up from here. Michael, you're going to have an amazing time next year. As I got to be the first Mountaineer in the Big 12 Conference, going down to Texas, kicking Texas' butt, 48-45 in front of over 100,000 people, it's pretty spectacular. I mean, going down there and just being a Mountaineer. And one of the first experiences I had was at the Big 12 football media days. I'm there with all these other crazy mascots, and they're all running around. None of them can talk, none of them can do interviews. So, I'm there, and all these reporters come up and they keep asking me questions because Dana and the football team aren't there the next day. So I truly got to be an ambassador for Morgantown, for WVU, and for West Virginia. The people down there in Texas, they got this flat country that's brown and dusty, and they don't have much to do. And so when they come to Morgantown, they get to see the beautiful rolling hills here, the magnificent fall foliage, and a little bit of what God's country is really like. And for us to go into the Big 12 has been a perfect fit. Pistol Pete, in case you didn't know, we're the only two mascots that carry a gun. So it is a gun-friendly concert. And it's been pretty great. My wife here, when I brought her into Pelham County the first time, she's from Los Angeles, California. So West Virginia was just a little bit different. There wasn't as many taxis after it coming around. So we come down through the mountains there in South Fork, and the Eastern Panhandle is kind of known as the poultry capital of the United States. I mean, there's more poultry houses there than anywhere else. And there's these big old long houses that she keeps on seeing. What are those things over there? Those are chicken houses, turkey houses. Have you ever seen one of those before? Guess they don't have them in California. All right, that's no problem. And so I'm always gone as a Mountaineer, and I come home one day, and she's like, well, I got some news for us. Went and got some chickens. You didn't even know what a turkey house was a couple months ago. All right, well, that's okay. So I'll go out back and I take a look and whatnot. And, honey, you know much about turkeys or chickens? Oh yeah, I Googled it earlier today, so no problem. And I'm like, well, you have one hen and 2 roosters. You're supposed to have a couple of hens to 1 rooster. Her reply was, well, that 1 rooster is always out of town. Showed up tonight for the passing the rifle so I could be the Mountaineer for a little bit longer. But it's truly been awesome. I've been able to attend every single county in this great state, all 55. As I go to every single one, they all cheer for West Virginia. They all wear blue and gold. And there's no other state like this. I told them I was going to be the only mascot they'd ever hear speak from. There's never going to be a buffalo come speak to them, or some panther come speak to them. They just can't do it. And that's what makes the Mountaineer so great. We're so unique. The people here are wonderful. And one of my favorite memories I have before I was the Mountaineer was actually probably the Big East basketball tournament in 2009-2010. We had a great team that year. Deshaun Butler, Devin Ebanks, Cam Thurman, John Flowers. I'm watching the game, the WVU Mountaineer Maniacs are having a watch party in the mountain lair. They had a contest at the time to see who could dress up as the best Mountaineer. I won that contest. We'll hope for it. And so, of course, Deshaun comes up, banks a 3 in over Cincinnati to win the game. So I'm like, all right, let's go up to New York City. This is gonna be fun, you know. Well, me and 4 of the girls, that's probably by mistake, go up to New York City. They were good friends with the basketball team, so they got tickets from the players. We pull in there, just pull into a parking garage. They charge us $75 just to park in New York City. I thought the Mountaineer garage was bad. So we go up there, and here I am. I bought a ticket off the street. It's decent, you know, halfway up, you know, second level, $100. I go up there, I walk in, ticket was fake. So I go outside to talk to this guy, see if I can get a refund. I thought he'd be nice to do that. Watch it. So here I am, first time I've ever been in New York City. I'm out of cash, and my iPhone's almost dead. So I look up that there's a StubHub ticket office, a couple blocks down the road. So I take off running. I walk into the StubHub at 8:57. They close at 9 o'clock. I was like, buddy, I just need a ticket to get in the game. He's like, well, these people never showed up. I was getting ready to throw them away. They're yours if you want them. Yeah, I know for sure. How much do I owe you? Nothing, they're free. A nice person in New York City, imagine that. So I get the tickets, I walk back over, I sell the other one face value. I'll walk down, it looks like a good seat, you know. I sit down, I'm 3 rows off the court, right behind the basket. I'm decked out in blue and gold, not quite like this, but I had the fake coonskin at the time, maybe my Mountaineer Maniac shirt on. I sit down and look around, there's nobody wearing blue and gold. What's going on here? I'm in the middle of Notre Dame's cheering section. The nearest Mountaineer fan's probably 3 sections over that way. I could really even holler at them. Well, you know what? We beat Notre Dame. We come back the next night. I get a roll ticket this time. We played Georgetown in the Big East Championship game. Deshaun has another big game. We beat Georgetown. So here we are, middle of New York City. Rebecca was a Mountaineer. She'd probably tell you this is probably one of her favorite memories.
I remember seeing you.
Yeah, I said, hey Rebecca. And so here we are. There's probably 4,000 or 5,000 Mountaineer fans in Madison Square Gardens. We're celebrating. They're cutting down the nets. We're cheering, and they started to play Country Roads. First time ever, maybe in New York City, they've ever played the song. And it was pretty special. At that moment, I really knew how strong the Mountaineer Nation really was. So I'll put more arms around people I didn't know. They were Mountaineer fans, and we sang Country Roads there. And ever since that point, every time Country Roads comes on, I love singing. I love singing with the Maniacs, with my family, with you guys. Today I was at Arthur Borman Elementary School, in the middle of nowhere, no cell phone service. But those kids knew all the words to Country Roads. It's kind of neat. I walk into a classroom full of kindergartens. They know every single word of Country Roads. We have some people on the football team who are in college that don't know all the words. But that's, you know, when I really knew that this is special. That the state we live in is second to none. The people here are truly genuine, and I loved every single moment I've had in the Buckskins. It's been pretty special. Thank you guys for everything, and let's go Mountaineers.
Thanks isn't enough, John. It's just not enough. Before we pass the rifle here, I'm going to go ahead and let Michael go ahead and start on up here. And also, I would like to introduce to you, we have some folks who serve as alternate Mountaineers, as many folks know. They go to some things when the Mountaineer can't make it. So we have our new alternate with us this evening. Brady Nolan's right back here. Also like to thank, she couldn't make it this evening with us. She had some family obligations, but Darren Buslick has served as our alternate Mountaineer for the past year as well. So let's thank her as well. So we go from Pendleton County to Marion County. Introduce to you the Mountaineer for the 2014-15 season, Michael Garcia.
Thank you all so much for coming out. Seeing this many people in a room is just incredible for me, and it's incredible to see the support that this program, this institution of the Mountaineer Mascot has on this university. First and foremost, I would like to say that I didn't always think I'd want to be the Mountaineer Mascot. I grew up being, call assessment in pepperoni rolls in Fairmont, in front of the TV, just sitting by myself, my brother behind me. And I love the Mountaineers, I always have, and it's so incredible to stand before you today. But that spark came about 2 years ago, and that spark came at a basketball game when the Mountaineer was announced. And I always knew that the mascot was important, and I always knew that the mascot was a person, and it's very much different than any other mascot. But I saw Jonathan get so excited and have such a passion when you went out on that court. You inspired me to be the Mountaineer. You inspired me. And I've had so many people in my life that have inspired me to do better and be the best person that I can be. It's incredible, and I would not be here today without all those people. My parents, my mother and father, are two of the best mentors I've ever had. And in the same way, my brother and my sister. It's there. I wouldn't be the person I am. I wouldn't have the values I have without these incredible individuals. My friends, we don't call it, at West Virginia University, these friends I have, we don't call each other friends, we call each other family. And that's because that's what we are. And that's why they're all out here supporting me tonight. An incredible girlfriend who has helped me through thick and thin, Tori, and I don't think I would still be sane at this point, going through the process twice without having her support. I'm here today because I want to make a difference. And I'm here today because I know that this position is meaningful and it has a very special place in my heart. And it obviously has a very special place in many other people's hearts. But just as all those people mentored me, what I'm looking forward to most is mentoring others. I'm looking forward to seeing a kid light up tomorrow. Tomorrow, it's tomorrow. I still don't know. Let's just say it's tomorrow. I think this time tomorrow will probably tell me somewhere. But it's so exciting to see that. To mentor a child that is going to do so many great things for the state in the future. Our children are our future, and I love that idea so much, and I want to support it, and I know that everyone in this room supports that. That's what the Mountaineer stands for. It's someone to go to, it's someone to identify with more than anything else, and I am very humbled and honored to take this position this next year.
Well, before we pass this along here, John, come up here for a second. And John, you've served us well the past 2 years. I was fortunate enough to sit as co-chair and then chair when we picked you both times. Ross Warner was your chair the first time. And I can definitely say that without a doubt we made the best decision, and the committee worked hard. We got the right Mountaineer for 2 years. You became a brother to me, and you've meant a lot to my family as well. Just to go the character of John Kimble. A couple days ago, you went to Elkins. And John had stayed with us a couple times when he had some events down that way and had got to know my grandparents. John had a busy schedule in Elkins that day, but he made time to go see my grandparents, and my grandpa just had surgery. And that's something you just don't find in everybody. That goes to the character of John. So John, I give you the Mountaineer here as not something to say goodbye with, but as something for you to look at and remember the rest of your life, that you're going to go touch the world like you've touched WVU, like you've touched every soul in the state of West Virginia. So John, thank you so much. While you're up here still, you've had support behind you. Y'all got married pretty much right when you took over as Mountaineer. So Christine, if you'll come on up here. And it's not enough to say thank you, but for sharing your husband with WVU, with the state for these 2 years, thank you so much. So, we have John here. Michael, will you come on up here? Now, I think it's only fair that before we pass this rifle along, that we let John, Let's Go Mountaineers go in the room one more time, and once we're done with that, then we'll pass the rifle. Let's go! Mountaineers! Let's go! Mountaineers! Let's go! Mountaineers! So, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, your 2014-2015 Mountaineer, Miss Michael Garcia. So, as we've just passed the rifle, we've passed it from one true Mountaineer who has the grit of John Wayne. And I want to see what you're going to do in this exciting new chapter. I know that you're going to make it your own, and I challenge you to make it your own. I challenge you to touch every person in the state. And I know you're going to do it because you've impressed me, and you've impressed a lot of folks with your work ethic and your hard work already. So I know you're going to do a great job, and it's going to be a great year. Tomorrow's going to come early. And as we pass this, I want to say thanks to John one more time here with just a few comments from the members of Mountain. We talked just a couple of days ago, and I wanted to put a couple comments in here that they said about John. Number one was that John Kimble has a heart that is bigger than the beard on his face. And I think that is so true. He, from the start, has been a Mountaineer to the core. He has always been in character. And finally, that big smile that I know never goes away, no matter what. So John, thanks again.